Welcome. Let's arrive together with one felt breath. Nothing needs to be prepared. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Just notice the body here, breathing, supported. Let the body listen before the mind explains. In the previous episodes, we explored how inner coercion forms, how residues shape the body's responses, how pressure softens when self-agency begins to return. And most recently, how that agency begins to change the way we relate. Today, I want to speak about something quieter. What happens when residues resolve? Not how they resolve, but what life begins to feel like when they do. Because resolution rarely announces itself. Most of the time, it passes quietly. Something that once activated you simply doesn't anymore. Sometimes people imagine resolution will feel dramatic, like a clear moment when everything finally changes. But most of the time, when residues resolve, nothing dramatic happens at all. There may have been a time when certain moments felt charged. A comment, a tone of voice, a pause in conversation. The body would tighten. The breath would shorten. Thoughts would begin preparing a response, often before anything had actually happened. That was residue. Not a flaw, just an unfinished experience organizing the present. Residues shape perception. They create subtle expectations. And over time, the body begins to anticipate what has happened before. Residues resolve quietly. Perception stops organizing around the past. Life begins to feel different. Not dramatic, not charged, just quieter. The same moment appears, the same conversation, the same circumstance, but the nervous system remains quiet. When residues are active, life can feel slightly urgent, even when nothing urgent is happening. The body scans, interprets, braces, prepares. But when a residue resolves, something very simple changes. The body stops anticipating. Often, the first sign of resolution is something that doesn't happen. The reaction that used to appear simply doesn't. The tightening doesn't arrive. The rehearsed response doesn't form. The moment passes without needing to be managed. No tightening, no rehearsed response, no internal rush to stabilize the moment. What once felt significant now feels ordinary. Not because you forced acceptance, not because you convinced yourself, but because the body no longer expects impact. Resolution is rarely dramatic. There is no announcement, no clear dividing line. Often, the only way you notice is afterward. You remember a situation that once would have unsettled you, and you realize nothing happened inside. The body stayed settled. The breath stayed open. Your response arrived naturally. Not managed, not calculated, just present. Residues organize reactions. Resolution allows choice to return. And when many residues resolve, something even quieter begins to appear. Life feels simpler. Not because circumstances improved, but because the body is no longer negotiating with the past. Moments arrive, moments pass, and the body rests inside them. Residues create pressure to manage experience. When residues resolve, that pressure is simply not there. Nothing replaces it, just space. The body stops anticipating. The mind stops rehearsing. And life begins to feel less effortful. Not perfect, just unforced. Let's pause for a moment. Nothing needs to be noticed. Nothing needs to be changed. Just allow the body to rest where it already is. When residues resolve, life doesn't become extraordinary. It becomes ordinary again. The ordinary breath, the ordinary conversation, the ordinary day. But without the quiet pressure that once lived underneath them. There is less urgency, less interpretation, less effort to manage what unfolds. And in that quiet simplicity, something natural returns. Trust. Not trust as belief. Trust as the body's willingness to meet life directly. And when that trust begins to settle, life no longer needs to be managed from the inside. moment by moment, without needing to prepare. If something in you recognized itself here, let that be enough. In the next episode, we'll explore what it feels like to live without inner pressure. And if at some point you'd like a quiet place to listen with someone, not to be directed, but simply to sit with what's unfinished, there's space for that through the Clarity Compass call. Your own knowing is already present.